Going through and calculating ROMI on the marketing journey can be kind of complex, so let's go through and take a look at an example. Here, for instance, we have Janelle, a really smart marketer who's gone through and constructed a series of 3 different ads to walk people toward purchase. She has an initial ad, which she's probably setting up as a reach ad, where she's spending $25 to target an existing really successful post to 50,000 people. So a lot of people are going to see this first post. She's then going to go through and use custom audiences to retarget those people who engage with that first ad. So there's 500 people in this case who've gone through and engaged with that first ad. She's going to retarget them with a video ad that tells more information about her particular business or the product she's selling. This is going to cost her $100 to make the video. Videos are more complex. And she's also going to spend $50 on targeting as well in terms of ad spend. So she's going to spend $150 to get 150 video views on that really precise video. Then in a final ad, she's going to use custom audiences again to target just those people who went through and actually watched that video. So to say there's 150 people who watched the video, she's going to target them with ads to have them go through and buy a limited time only product. Here she spent $25 on that ad and then also $30 in ad spend. Finally, at the very end, after all of this effort, 10 different people go through and purchase, and the average order is $50. She knows her margin as well is 30%. So what exactly is the ROMI across this entire journey? This problem seems kind of complicated, but in reality it's not too bad to go through and solve. Let's take a look. So here we can go through and apply this formula we developed earlier, basically taking a look at all the profit that comes in and dividing it by all of the marketing costs across those 3 different ads. So here we've got 10 sales at $50 an order and a margin of 30%. And we're going to divide that by the costs involved in each of the 3 different ads. The first ad, it was $25 for ad spend and then $0 for production because it already existed. They already had that post. There was $100 to make the video and then $50 in advertising and then $25 for that final ad as well as $30 in ad spend. We can add up all of these numbers and we see that she made $150 in profit, but it cost her $230 to go through and get that $150 in profit. So her ROMI is 65%, which is not amazing. Here we see that she's spending $1 to basically earn back 65 cents, which is not a good investment. You would not want to do that every day. However, maybe there's something else to consider. Given the performance that Janelle had on her particular journey, she probably wants to dig in a bit and see exactly what parts of the journey might have been the sticking points or the ones that were perhaps a bit too expensive. What she can do is she can pop in and calculate a whole bunch of different metrics at each of these different stages. Because each stage in the journey has a different goal, she's going to have slightly different metrics at each stage. She can go through and calculate an engagement rate, a view rate, and a conversion rate for each of these 3 different ads. We're basically looking at the outcome divided by how many people actually went through and saw that particular ad. So here we have 500 engagements divided by 50,000 people who saw it, and this is going to give her an engagement rate for this ad. You might look at this and go, maybe this is a bit low. Maybe you expect ads on social media to have an engagement rate that's higher. She might then look at this and say, maybe I want to have better creative or change up this ad in some way to make it more attractive or more receptive to people actually engaging. Another one could be taking a look at the view rate. Here we're looking at how many views we got divided by how many people who were reached. In this case, we've got 30% of people who see the video ad actually go through and watch it. That seems pretty good to me. You could also take a look at other things you've run and see if that compares to your previous benchmarks or even what you know for the particular industry. And then finally, you can go through and calculate the conversion rate. This is going to be how many sales you received divided by how many people actually went through and saw your ad. So in this case, we're assuming all 150 people actually saw the ad. In this case, we've got a conversion rate of 6.67%. That's pretty good, but perhaps it could be better. And she might also pop in and take a look there and see, is there something you could do to change up that ad and make it more attractive and make people more likely to go through and buy? Another way of going through and taking a look at these numbers would be going through and calculating a cost per whatever outcome you're looking at. right? It could be cost per engagement. Here we're taking the spend, dividing it by how many outcomes we have, and we can see it costs 5 cents to get a particular engagement. Or we could go through and calculate a cost per view in this case. The cost of the ad divided by how many views you get. And here we can see it's $1 per view. That seems kind of expensive again. Maybe you want to try and drive that down by again improving the performance of the ad. Or you can go through and calculate a cost per conversion. So in this case, it's costing $5.50 because we've got $55 in terms of the cost involved and 10 sales. So 55 divided by 10 is $5.50 per click to actually go through and buy. That seems pretty high as well. So she's basically spending $5.50 to get one person to click and go through and purchase. Maybe she could try and drive that spend down by improving that particular ad. While it might seem kind of confusing at first, calculating these numbers across the entire journey stage can be really helpful since it tells you where your costs are coming from, and you can identify parts that might not be performing that well. You can go through and compare these numbers to things from the industry or from other ads you've run and use that information to really pinpoint where it is you want to put efforts to try and improve. And do things like run A/B testing, which we'll talk about next class.